this transitory place. But the moment he stopped playing, he was plunged back into this death of the flesh, this crazy, sick thing we have come to call life.
Why is it important for you to be part of Festival 800?
For me, it was important to be part of Festival 800 because, first and foremost, history is my favourite subject. It's my passionate subject. It's a subject I teach, although informally. And I think that reflecting on history allows us to think about where we're at, where we must go. A great scholar that I'm a fan of, Dr. John Henrik Clarke, said, history is a map of human geography in which people use to locate themselves, or it's a clock on which people use to tell their cultural, political and historical time of day, as it were. And so I think 800 years on from Magna Carta, we can think about, those of us particularly that know the details, can think more about how Magna Carta has been used and what the belief is around it, which is equally as important as the reality of what the document actually said and what it achieved. And that has lessons to teach us about power and the power of the production of history also.
Do you feel the Magna Carta is still an important and popular piece of history in 2015?
As I was just saying, I think Magna Carta is more well known than its details are known. So people are aware that Magna Carta existed. Many people think it said a whole bunch of stuff it didn't say. The reality of what the document from 1215, the Charters of the Forest, etc., actually said is very different from what most people think. It was really a contract between the king and a bunch of rebellious barons. It didn't grant rights to unfree people. I mean, it says in the document, free men. So it infers right there were people who were unfree, which at 1215 in British history was the vast majority of the population. So it still gives us something to think about. It's about people trying to limit this power of the king and form a contract with him. But as I said, I think the way in which Magna Carta was used subsequently in the English Revolution, in the American Revolution, and also the fact that British history and the history of the English-speaking world has become so globally well known through Hollywood, through various forms of propaganda, through empire, is itself a cause for reflection. So I suppose that from a historical perspective, I'm really interested in that as much as I am the actual document itself. But really what I took from it, or the inspiration I took from it for what we're trying to perform today, was really looking at what that question, freedom, what does it mean? Freedom, question mark, almost. And that's where we came with the title, A Conversation with Freedom.
In 2006, you were voted the best hip-hop act at the MOBO Awards. How important is it for you as an artist to create new forms of expression through your music?
For me, especially as I've I hate to say it cliche, but especially as I've got older, it has become really important to find new avenues. I don't want to be limited by kind of a 3-minute song format. So doing something like what we've done today, or what we're about to do today, where we approach the process almost like it was an audiobook. We thought of it that way, like a collection of short stories, and a section of the short stories would be song around particular questions around this concept of freedom. I wrote a graphic novel, I did a one-man theatre show earlier in the year. I think all of these different forms that we're trying to experiment with are really, really important to me, because I don't want to be limited by what can be said in the context of 3 minutes.
Why did you create the Hip Hop Shakespeare Company? Who and what is it for?
The Hip Hop Shakespeare Company is a music theatre production and education company which specialises in workshops, residencies and live events that essentially takes the works of Shakespeare and reappropriates them in the context of the art form that I grew up listening to, which is hip hop, which is centuries of rhythmic oral poetry that became distilled into rap music in the 1970s in New York. So the aim of the Hip Hop Shakespeare Company is to re-educate people, but also to fuse music into education.
I was lucky enough to see a bit of your performance for your sound check. Would you perhaps be able to tell us a little bit about it today? So your performance, what inspired you to create something like this?
My performance is essentially, it's an hour. It is a reading of these stories, these audiobook stories I got, and then performance of some songs intertwined with those. And each piece has a title. We approached them, like I said, the shortest one is like 9 minutes long. So there's only 5 pieces across the hour. And I worked with a composer-producer called Prashant Mistry. And again, he approached from a sort of composition perspective rather than from a song perspective. So there are sections or movements even within the songs. And so the performance is going to be a lot more relaxed. Yesterday I was at a festival doing my jump up and down kind of festival stuff, 3-minute songs, kind of ram tent, people getting hot and sweaty. Whereas this is going to be a sat down kind of cognitive, thought-provoking performance, hopefully.
Who else is involved in this particular unique piece of work?
So the actual music was created by this composer, Prashant Mistry, also known as Engine-Earz. And then we have today in the performance, Jodie on bass, Tara on cello, and Charlie on guitar.
And have you performed in Lincoln before? Are you excited about today?
I don't think I ever performed in Lincoln before. I've come to a school here, but I've not performed here.
And are you excited?
I am very much excited.
Nice. Okay, well, thank you for answering my questions. I've got a badge for you with YJA on for Young Journalists Academy. And good luck with your performance this afternoon.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Take care.
And enrolled him in the local martial arts team. And it was clear that he had real talent. Discipline followed. Now no longer just a street brawler, he was an artist. He fought, he won, he lost, he hit, he got hit. But it was all like a meditation. The punches, like self-flagellation, pain was now love. He loved his opponents for beating him, for fighting him, for being his partners in this quest for self-improvement.